Right into things we go, as Inferno will be our first dueling grounds. I'm always excited to say that, Michael. Good to see Inferno not being the end of a best of 3 and setting the pace for it instead.
Yeah, it's nice to set the tempo, set the expectations as well, because these teams are relatively fledgling squads, and yeah, they've got a deep run in these playoffs, or I guess this bracket stage. It's not playoffs quite yet, but everything's cutthroat. We talked about it earlier, double elimination format, so you've got to set your best foot forward at the start of it. And both these teams are probably quite excited to be going off against one another. It's not the strongest opposition they could face in their opening round. Let's see how they do in this pistol on our first map. LDLC only with one player at A, and it's Gravity that is taken to the floor quite quickly.
Well, A-bomb side's caught. And of course, if you guys are wondering about those tiny little X's on the radar, don't worry about it. They're not supposed to be there. Very slow rotation from LDLC, even after they've lost a solitary player on A. It feels like they were a little bit hesitant to let go of the past, and they really might have wanted to hightail it more so. Still, Motor Smoke was down, so it would have been harder to retake in through that regardless. Afro now trying to move back in onto the bomb side. Quick few shots come through. I think those did come in through the edge of the wall, but Kamian and Aaron, as well as Coolio, have come through and strike in. Afro all alone will just be trying to save.
Yeah, I think this certainly could have gone better for LDLC. They had probably the worst setup to deal with an A play. DomiNation with a nice slow creep through the apartments, and yeah, once they dealt with that A player, the round was pretty much over. That's maybe why LDLC sort of half committed on that rotate. Took so long to do it. They just kind of took a sigh and thought, oh well, this has gone poorly. DomiNation, good for first foot forward though. Got the bomb plant down, killed everyone as well, so LDLC, with this reinvestment, have to buy everything that they possibly can, and it's not cheap. Committing to this force buy. They give Afro armor. Someone dropped that scout to him, so he could buy armor. I think it was Lambert. So, let's see if this Afro scout can do some damage. Needs to be a healthy commitment in. DomiNation, Molotov's in, and he's been found through the smoke. Okay, B setup is completely gone.
Even Afro's drop scout, it just gets absolutely nothing. Well, that was a fast 2 rounds out from DomiNation. There you go. I don't really know what I can say beyond they killed people.
Yeah, I mean, like their name would entail, these opening rounds have, I mean, LDLC haven't been able to do much of anything in them.
Do you know what LDLC stands for, Michael?
Is this a quiz? No.
No, I have honestly, I've never thought about it. Now I'm curious. Because so apparently in League of Legends are called LDLC OL, and OL is the abbreviation for Olympique Lyonnais, which is a French football club, but there's no actual, I can't find what LDLC stands for. Even on their Wikipedia.
I have to do some
Is this just, are they just initialed? Do they just not have a name?
It must have something to do with the wolf.
That would be... How insane would that be if they just don't have a name? They just have initials. That's all there is.
They're just like, yeah, we're just going to keep with LDLC. Well, it was like a website, I think, once upon a time. You know, I think I remember the old logo used to have like LDLC.com.
Yeah, I mean, that is the chief sponsor, but like, even then you would imagine it stands for something, right? Even if it is a website.
Yeah.
Well, top 10 things I've never thought of and got it right. Gravity is down, and Burrito is the one to fly.
Ooh. Well, this is, again, another solid round here from DomiNation, not falling 2 pistols. Lambert does at least get 1 on his push through towards bottom middle. And they've actually found Bandito as well, pushing through spawn, and got their hands on a couple of rifles. They have a real chance at contending with this. Double rifles coming up banana. Kamian has to hold his ground.
Kamian will be able to do so. It makes it look easy as well. And at this point, Afro might want to just move back and save. Of course, it all comes down to snubbling as he moves forward. Quick deagle shot does connect. But it is still Mr. MSN to come through and save the day. 3 rounds up for DomiNation. A lot closer this time over, losing a lot more money than they would like. But yes, let's wait and see.
I found the answer. Apparently it stands for the founder's initials. Laurent de la Clergerie.
Just type it out for me. I'll say it.
Which, you know, I definitely have butchered that, so I apologize to him in particular. Yeah, there you go.
Wow. Michael did some sleuthing. Gravity's waiting for what seems to be a flashbang setup. Brooksy the one to be wielding it. Once again, slightly more passive, back over towards that A-bomb side, as they do just have Snubbling using most of his utility in apartments. The smoke and Molotov being used early on. There's no lurker from DomiNation, so I don't think they should have an idea of exactly where it's used. That being said, but either does see the smoke leaking through the walls. Source 2 will take that away from you.
Also, we didn't really discuss it, but I was expecting Almanek to be playing today with them, but Lambert, their coach, is instead in LDLC. It's obviously not ideal, but he'll probably be able to hold his own. Right now, LDLC have not been able to put up much of a fight in any of the prior rounds, bar the save, actually, so hoping that they can get this engaged with these rifles. Probably will receive some pressure and domed by MSN. Lambert now the last man standing on this side. Brooksy is moving in on rotation, but he actually will get enough room to actually join up with him inside of the site. DomiNation are not speeding things up just yet. 35 seconds, and Camion's found to push through to B as well.
Afra's going to be able to hold off, but the problem is his op is going to be completely useless in this round. Lambert, Mr. Coach called upon. Do they not want to use any of their utility over here? They've got a Molotov, they've got a grenade. They still seem to want to contact out with a flashbang, and that's going to be the first kill found. Lambert does trade, but at the end of the day, there's just too many numbers to deal with.
That's actually a very, very scary round. That's excellent composure there from DomiNation. It's a little weird to look at, right? Them stopping and freezing inside of Moto. But because they got that kill over towards B on Camion, and he went untraded, you know, he still had that presence, and there wasn't re-aggression there from Afro. They stopped, they froze, and they were, I think, expecting maybe one of these A players to start leaning over, because there was no noise made by any of their remaining players over on that A side. But then they just set up for that flash, and even with the secondary player there, LDLC could not hold. Afro should be able to escape with his AWP. Finding Camion was the hardest part of this save, but a 4-0 start from the Hungarians.
They do need to be careful not to lose another rifle after Afro. There is going to be a buy for the CTs regardless, and that does stress out the T-side economy after they lost so many players earlier on as well. Great start for the Hungarians, like you mentioned, Michael, but this is also where maybe LDLC has the chance to push down on that money, really reset it here, get a few rounds for themselves as well. I would imagine that is what the pause is called for too. Laurent de la Clergerie. Can you imagine? Just naming an esports team after your own name.
Actually, yeah, I could.
I would never do that just because of all of the, you know how random like bettors will just come out and just swear at the team. I don't want them swearing at my name.
You know, you have to consider what Paqueta or another one. You know, that's a football player that decided to get involved. I think that.
But he's already being sworn at, right? He's already famous.
No, yeah, he is already famous. That is true. God, there was another one as well that Case, which is like Casemiro, also another footballer.
True.
Yeah, some of it's a bit more stylized.
Cassidy as well.
Yeah.
Half buy coming out of LDLC. They don't actually commit to the full buy. They do have 3 players once again in the B-bomb side. Afro being bodyguarded many times over, but no amount of bodies will guard you from grenades. In fact, they might actually just end up soaking more damage.
The best they could have mustered up is some SMGs and maybe a full mask if they committed to the buy. And, well, so far the half has not resulted in all too much. In fact, that AWP even being sussed out. It was in a bit of a stalemate, but his teammate has lost his head-to-head. And Lambert may lose his own head in just a moment. There's still Coolio keeping him contained. Bomb can go down safely over at B. And DomiNation maintaining good form. They're really just doing a good job of restricting options here from LDLC. Showing some solid patience in the previous gun rounds as well. LDLC looking a little out of their depth in the opening segments of this game. And to consider, you know, LDLC, an organization that have won majors before, like a very long time ago, right? But
It's just 8 years.
it will be the 9th year this year, so
Yeah. Pretty nuts, honestly, when you think about how long it's been. Also, I do have to say, I really strongly appreciate the fact that they stayed in CS. They didn't just dip out because they can't have a top team.
yeah, no, absolutely.
It's-
You know, they seem to have like rediverted their attention to sort of developing French Counter-Strike.
And it's something you'll love to see. Deep nades, molotovs, so much damage coming out. DomiNation. A flashbang is good from Lambert, but Brooks is still around the corner. He keeps his duel going. Straight it out soon. Off front to Lambert. Was that a wall bang?
Yeah, it might have been. Either way, he just took so much damage. You know, so many players facing him simultaneously, and MSN will strike as well, finding that flank. Afro tried desperately to have a trade go his way, but no one overswings here on DomiNation, so it will be a 3-on-1 that allows them, to hold into this post plant. Afro is already in a position where he can just easily dip and try and save this weapon. DomiNation just can't seem to put a foot wrong, and you know that seemed like one of those mistakes that, you know, I'm sure if there was another player in there, it felt like Lambert was kind of desperately trying to hold towards top side B after losing those two initial players. I think many players would fall back a little bit more defensively because, you know, initially finding two, as there's a way in which the T's would drop their guard to a certain degree, but no, he tried to take the fights, and there was just too many DomiNation members in front of him, so had to get at least 1 or 2 kills to make that round work. They just can't get multi-kills on any of these LDLC guys.
For the A side prize, it feels like they can't get any kills in general, unfortunately. The E-bomb side has been pretty heavily bombarded. Afro? Okay. Strong start to things.
Yeah, good stuff. And should actually have the advantage when it comes to this sort of head-to-head with the DomiNation AWP. MSN's not, I think, a traditional AWPer. I think it's done so out of necessity. It was obviously the DomiNation guys at one point or another were playing with Color, who I think was probably the best-looking asset from the Hungarian region as of late. You know, outside of the sort of top teams. But yeah, MSN's not the traditional AWPer, but has been taking the mantle since his departure. Saw a hand, Afro unable to punish, and actually sticking around. That will cause him to lose his life. Brooksy does find a kill through the smoke, but that AWP is out of reach.
Brooksy best start getting some deagle shots soon. Smoke will be dissipating. Coolio seems to be very trained and ready for the potential of a player inside copy, and that is exactly what they're able to check. And now watch out for Lambert. He is going to have a timing perhaps over here, as he is going for the flank and from behind. If Snobbling can delay this for long enough, Lambert is going to be coming through with a big few frags. Only good for the one though. Snobbling now closes the distance, but can't close out the round. Can't really help himself in when then he kills, and that puts things into another 2 versus 1. Oh.
Yeah, just trying to escape with this ult. That's why he dropped that MP9 out of distance. He's actually contesting for this. There's a fresh smoke coming in at Moto, and that should just cancel out his prospects of the round. DomiNation take another 7-0 to start off this game. And it really doesn't feel like LDLC have been in with much of a fighting chance in any of the rounds.
Yeah, I think the best that they've looked like was on the 1 eco where it came down to a 1v1.
Yep. And that was only a 1v1 for a moment because a trade was lined up.
Yeah. It's just one of those on-paper 1v1s. Well,
Another chance with another buy. I wouldn't be surprised to see them go back to maybe even something like a double up for LDLC, considering how much they have been struggling, and they do have the economy to try and go for it. But no, they will stick to ye old faithful.
Probably just going to need Afro to try and instigate action as much as humanly possible. You know, we saw a good peek over towards B that found them in a 5-on-4, but they just haven't been able to capitalize on even the few times where they've had a man advantage thus far.
Nice mid-banana smoke coming out there.
Yeah, a little deep. Actually got a tag onto Lambert. Down to 17, and Brooksy's getting bombarded by nades.
They've been so consistent with chucking nades and molotovs early on towards sandbags, and it just seems to find damage into LDLC every single time.
Yeah, they really want to contest this area of the map, it's clear, but it has not been good for their health.
Julio waiting up for the peek forward, and with the barrel already showing for Snobling earlier on, that is just a freebie. Probably does nothing behind, should be set up for a few, but Aaron spots out, and Brooksy's spam is not giving him any cover. Not any real cover, at least. In LDLC, once again, forced to save out on the A-side players. They have nothing to offer to the conversation.
He wasn't even, they weren't even really ready for Gravity's position, but he missed his opening bullets, and that's where suddenly their ears perk up. They knew exactly where he was after that. Needed that kill instantly if there was any chance of him getting away with, well, maybe 1-2 kills. But DomiNation have just been doing such a good job of just slowly working areas of the map, and LDLC feel like they're losing out in these resource battles, whether HP as a resource is something that they're losing, or just, you know, the nade exchanges. DomiNation always feel like they've got more in the tank. It has just been a saving simulator for the LDLC guys. Moving sides so consistently. Lambert getting one on the exit. It is only for a moment's notice. Afro is now on high alert because he wants to try and save this ult into a future round. Oh, missed shot. Julio should. Might just be able to wrap him in time. No. Pit is a safety net. And Afro holding onto that AWP is at least a nice to-have. They should buy up around it.
Yeah, he can drop 2 rifles over. Exactly what ends up happening. But the presence of rifles has not really been changing the flow of the game so far. DomiNation has walked over the rifles, the pistols, the deagles, the MP9s. They've got large feet, and they are being used for stomping right now. Wow.
Just no regard for that smoke, huh? But either just flashed
Not
through.
at all.
Didn't expect anyone to be around the corner. And then there was eventually someone there, but timings are missed. They don't actually end up seeing one another. Deep smoke that doesn't go quite as deep as we would have expected. There's a gap that Aaron can use to actually get vision towards topside B, so if LDLC decide to peek it, they'd be in for a nasty surprise. This is not...
I think the nasty surprise is about to come regardless. Gravity wanted to push forward with flashbang in, but they'd already ducked into anti-flashes. Aaron covers off the broken wall peak, and again, advantage lost.
Aaron killed him jumping.
Oh, what? Oh,
He was the guy
I thought
that
Aaron
was
was
ju- he
behind.
was the guy
Oh,
that was
never mind.
jumping.
Well, nothing's working for them. Yeah, good protocol. Yeah, they're covering off the guy who's jumping. Oh, never mind. It's actually Easter already.
Yeah, had he died, you know, there were people behind him that would have probably traded, but yeah, it's all turning up DomiNation right now. Hungary on top. Inferno is looking solid. Their map pick in the series, of course, but it's LDLC. They like to pick this map too. They're just getting completely schooled. Coolio double kill. They can't get anything to fall their way.
I don't know how MSN has the stones to just go for a corner peek into a shotgun op, and then Coolio just strafes out from the side and gets 2 kills. Just... Wow.
Yeah, they are quite literally dominating them. Like, it's and it is low-hanging fruit, of course, but it has genuinely been the case. LDLC have not been able to put up much of a fight in any of these rounds so far. I was actually expecting quite a scrappy game between these squads. I won't lie. I wasn't, I don't pretend to have the most amount of knowledge about, LDLC or DomiNation in terms of like their composure, how they set up in mid rounds, and just their macro understanding. When you look at these teams, I think when it comes to into the season of ESL Challenger League, when they are new arrivals, we should treat them as such. Especially when we're going to see them against better and better teams. Some have missed out on chances to go into ESL Pro League, or missed out on chances to get through qualifiers to Melbourne or Rio. There's a lot of different events that are run through the sort of ESL circuit. If we don't get to see them partake in those types of events or actually do quite well, then in a sense, they're always learning, they're always developing, and we should always expect them to change from qualifier or league season to league season.
I would also like to point out that I feel like there's only been 2 rounds so far where LDLC hasn't had at least one player naded down very heavily in the first 20 seconds.
Yeah.
I'm not normally the biggest fans of all grenades on the T side of Inferno, but DomiNation are putting up a pretty damn convincing case for it.
They're already preparing for Source 2.
Good oh my god, the flash is also just avoided by Coolio just a little bit. He was half blind, but while he's half blind, he's definitely still fully powered.
One of LDLC's best maps in the pool, as far as history is concerned. And they are getting absolutely rolled. A 5-on-3 that they will cluster at least 4 towards B. Brooksy needs at least 3 kills here. That's the only way that LDLC can even feasibly argue that they can come in for this retake.
Peek out for Brooksy, but he's just taken down. Okay, never mind. I think the other argument to go for this retake, Michael, is the fact that it is 9-0. No, it is 10-0. So maybe go for every retake from now on. Might not be optimal, but it seems to be required.
They're getting out-dueled. Very heavily.
They're getting out counter-struck.
Yeah, I mean, aside from the tactical element, DomiNation have been doing a good job of working map control, but even when LDLC have been in positions where they can, theoretically have a couple kills fall their way, like, they're missing out on those chances. They have not looked quite as sharp. DomiNation have been rolling heads. And this time, some pressure towards the brackets. LDLC are just going to cheat everyone over. This is a half-buy from them, so these pistols very mobile to reinforce this site. And they'd be right. DomiNation right now clustered up to attack A.
Amazon. We'll be able to back up, and that's where always Coolio just seems to come out from a corner to protect MSN's life. There seems to be the relationship between the two of them. Still the 2-on-3, and the 5-7's in a good position. Gravity could be looking for a peek forward, but unfortunately he has been overrun, as has been the case with, well, everyone on the CT side. I'd like to point out that MSN is 7-1, despite the ridiculous style of opping that he has sometimes been going for.
Yeah, that's, not usually the opera, so.
Yeah, it's a fun time.
Yeah.
I'm happy with it.
He's just vibing. He's trying his best to get involved when the rest of the pack are just so quick to capitalize on frags. Emerson sitting there on 1 death and just thinking, I could afford to have maybe a couple more. Just let me get a chance at a few more kills as well. It's just
My
runs
goodness,
through
man.
the mid-smoke.
Listen, it's like Emerson hasn't been told that the T-side op on Inferno is mostly supportive role. He's just like, man, I really want to keep this op in my hands. I don't want anyone else to take this away from me. I
he's
better
capped on
get to
cash.
opening deals.
The only reason he lost out money is because he bought nades.
God.
Him and Camion.
Well, Camion at least has 5 deaths, right? So there is that to write home about. How sad would Afro be if they just get onto the broken wall and throw the CT nades from there? Well, there you go. Another death found, and with the flashbang, it's Gravity to peek through. This could be their first round, but Bandito does frag right back. And they will be rotating to the A-bomb side to see if they can accelerate into a few kills here as well. Lambert, the other side, does still have that second re-op. Comes into play. First frag found, and he will back off to safety. A 2-on-3 with Afro covering off arches means that this is looking like LDLC will finally get there first.
Yeah, Lambert will lose his life for hunting a little bit far, but these double ops have struck. 4 kills between them. 3 on Afro, 1 on Lambert, but that's enough. You know, they sent them packing on that initial B play, and the timing was great. You know, they were set up round the corner just as DomiNation were prepping for a B execute and able to pick them out one by one after taking that first contact, but then just able to get in their face with Gravity as well. Want to see a bit more like it. If LDLC can have these sort of mid-round aggro setups, that might be enough to send DomiNation bouncing between bomb sites, and in which case, you know, LDLC can very comfortably take ground. Usually DomiNation have had someone lurking on one side of the map to always keep them somewhat engaged, and they've been winning a fair amount of fights on these lurks. But this time over, they were more heavily distributed to just one idea. Problem will be that they need to chain more rounds together. Best they can salvage is 4, and DomiNation have money for days.
Unfortunately, that does end up being the problem in most of these insane comebacks that we theorize. MSN might have died once more, but it seems like he will be reverting back to a slightly more passive style. That means it's a little bit easier to defend. Snobling's got a good adjustment, but Dito's demise has been able to at least put them to a 4-on-4, and as Snobling starts to get aggressive in behind the smoke, making a fair bit of noise. Coolio can't trace it through. The wisps of the smoke. Gravity's rotation is also in very good time, as they do seem to be contemplating going in through the arches. The only question is, though, how exactly will they be doing so? Gravity now smoked off at Library. Brooks, who's been spotted out as well. Repeak over. Gravity's pushed through the smoke. Coolio and Aaron finding a few, but Snobbling from behind gets 3 big ones.
4 kills from him so far, and is on for a full-on ace, but Camion still stands as his final hurdle to climb over. Bomb dropped into those archers, and Camion knows that they must be close by. Flash in, they do clear it, and Snobbling commits to sitting on top of that bomb. Lambert trying to just bait out sound cues. Camion wasn't within earshot, and Lambert's already holding for this short perusal. Camion has to hit a nice quick one, and he finds Lambert immediately. Now trying to figure out where Snobbling is. That's a tall task, and caught between 2 mines. Didn't know if he was still in middle or not. It's a Snobbling ace for an LDLC second round.
And as much as Snobling has to be commended for the fact that he's able to push in from behind, Gravity also really nice recognition of the fact that there would still be the divider smoked down, despite Library being smoked off for another 3, maybe 4 seconds. So he was so much safer in pushing through that Library smoke and being able to set up a distraction for Snobling. Yeah. Obviously, Snobling is the strike, he is the bowling ball, but it's at least a very nice little assist.
Yeah, they actually had great presence to just crunch in on that Archer's control there from DomiNation. It was actually very well done there from LDLC to sort of wrap around on all sides. Had them boxed in and DomiNation didn't even know it.
Well, maybe 4 is achievable. Money will still obviously be there. DomiNation with flashes through, wanting to make sure that they can come up to 13 potentially, and Aaron's start is good for it. Gravity also gone right through. That smoke, his head has been found.
Yeah, immediate save call as well from LDLC. This is one of the problems that they have with that round being so close. Sure, they're able to get another one under their belt, but it came down to a one-on-one where they've been prioritizing getting a double AWP setup as well out on LDLC. So you had one of these players on the B bomb side, I think it was Brooksy, with a UMP. Not exactly the most ideal weapon, but neither of them were able to put up much of a fight on this site. And DomiNation just rolled them over. It's 12 already attained. This T side has been fantastic to look at from the DomiNation point of view. Just run in, headshot, but also roll, you know, run a bit slower, and also headshot. They've been keeping LDLC guessing. I think the biggest point. They haven't just maintained one level of pace. This is more of a marathon than a sprint.
They've been sprinting in this marathon, though, I have to say.
You know, just in certain legs of it. You know, they're taking some time to catch their breath.
Tell that to MSN. My man was born with tree trunks for legs.
I know, he hasn't been getting punished for these peaks, though, so why wouldn't you go for him?
Honestly, it's like if you just start running marathon and like, actually, I don't need to stop running. Why would I?
He's honestly just been being ignored, is the strange part.
Yeah.
You know, every sort of aggro peak he's gone for has just been no one on the other side, and they don't even know about it either, I think, on LDLC.
Emerson's also just wondering, how am I getting away with this? One Afro. Fortunate to be getting away. Will be able to move through that smoke that actually gives him cover. Coolio past the Molotov, he will go. Nades are good this time from the CTs. And Batito has discovered that it is not a good idea to play with fire when you're on 2H.
Yeah, he thought he could skirt round into Boiler, around those flames, but I think, yeah, just taking that final lick of damage, didn't realize just how far the flames had spread.
No, guys, I'm good. I'm going to be... never mind.
I'm out of the round entirely. They have reaggressed, though. Afro has cleared through middle, and after such heavy presence was there, this should lean LDLC further towards some kind of a B play, but rotates are going to be very delayed. They were deep committed to pit and the short side as well, but there is a fast flank accomplished now by Afro on that AWP. It's just about whether or not he can contribute because the hit's coming in.
And they've already moved forward, and Afro cannot accelerate with the AWP. Gravity has to be able to put up a defense, but MSN now starts off the round nicely. Brooksy position revealed, and it's going to be quickly traded out. No, you'd think so, but only HP taken out. 19 still left on MSC defense, and Afro is now going to be activating in from behind. The wallbang is good, but Aaron is alone regardless. Shots baited out, but Snobbling still comes out to seal the deal. 3-12, and we're after a break. We'll be back with the second very soon to see if LDLC still has anything to say.
break up, don't speak for a couple of weeks. I'll be in his place till he calls and says he's sorry. This situation's on repeat, just like a scratch on a CD. It just gets deeper when you hit rewind. How many nights will you make this decision? Nights and years and it's blurring your vision. You know he don't love you, hurt you holding on to. Scream through the phone even though he won't listen. So I'm still at your place, turn to.
I hate to say it, I really do, but that was DomiNation from the Hungarian side.
Yeah, and it looks like a big fat L here on Inferno from LDLC. So let's see if the second half is a little bit better. I have to hope that they're able to find some level of form, because they were getting out-dueled, out-positioned, kind of out-everything. You know, you used out-counter-struck, and I think that was very, very accurate to how things were going. But we saw a few signs of life. You had a nice little ace in there from Snobling as well. You might need to do a bit more heavy lifting here for this pistol. Just a slow creep up middle, and there's 4 players in proximity for DomiNation.
This doesn't look like it's going to end well. Goalie is the one, spots out the first gun. Aaron comes through with one, Badito the second found as well, and now comes time to pursue. Right down middle. Lambert is, of course, setting up for the late peak, and Bonito seems to be very well aware of the possibility. I say pursue, but it seems like DomiNation is content with just playing this quite passively. Actually, it's a dual leads that they are putting faith in, but Camion, 2 pistols sure, but 0 kills, and now knife in for Aaron. He's thinking about it for a second, but no, not quite.
He was hoping that they would dive through that smoke after finding him. MSN even trying to challenge for Lambert. On the high ground, Lambert has him. Never approach from the low. 3-on-3 after losing those opening players over in middle. They have been able to claw that man advantage away from DomiNation, and Lambert's still trying to run interference, but he's sussed out. And now the package alongside his escort are suddenly in a tough position. They fully are committing towards his A site though, and Badito's sussed out. That should allow for enough space for the plant.
Coolio's now caught in between decision about whether he pushes in or not. No Kevlar on him. Remember, he is the one who actually dropped doors from that util and the dualies, if I am correct about that. I think it does look like it. So he wasn't feeling too confident in just charging in regardless. Still, a 2-on-2, which started off as a 5 versus 3. LDLC are now ticking the bomb away to a point where it feels like Diffuse is becoming increasingly unlikely because of the lack of a kit as well. Positions are quite good. They're going to need some quick entries to be able to get back onto it. And the peek up from Brooksy has basically disabled it completely. Solid recovery coming out from the French side.
Yeah, and they were kind of bouncing between the 2 bomb sides. Once they realized that this was a stack over towards the A side, they realized it should be a weakness on B. They find 1 kill, and they're slowed because of the smoke. But once Lambert finds that 1 kill onto MSN, then suddenly they felt confident enough to bounce back in that site, and the remaining DomiNation players could not hold their spots, couldn't whittle down the numbers either. That's the first piece of the puzzle. Forced by here from DomiNation, though, to reciprocate. Tag is good. Afro able to find a tag back. So there will be some decent damage already accomplished. Badito even goffering around for a secondary peek. He allowed Afro to get that damage back in. Second swing of it.
I like that flashbang grenade combination actually coming out over with the B-bomb snipe, but it is still LDLC to speed up, so can't learn out about that yet. Aaron looks to push through. Camion good for 1. Camion's one-way smoke is giving him so much to work off of. Molotov behind him will be spreading, and now he's forced back to the smoke for cover once again. Aaron is pushing forward. Coolio needs to be careful about Lambert. Seems to be aware of the possibility of his existence, and that existence might be sussed out, will not matter, as you can't do anything about it.
Everybody is 1 tag away from death. Now, even a couple of USB body shots might be able to finish them off, but treat this scout like it is an AWP. Set up for a double swing. There's just no way Badito can win this now.
Yeah. Swing not even needed.
Well handled.
I did really like the flashbang grenade combination coming out from DomiNation there on the B bomb site, though. They actually just showed the standard B push flash, you know, the retake one. And with that, they put a grenade into the corner of the barrels on top of banana. You know, where you can try and hide behind. There's a bit of cover. You have to be wall banged. So yeah, that's a cute idea. Well, farming time.
This is a forget me round. They have at least found one kill on these USPs, so that's always nice. You know, we look at rounds like this and you're just thinking about how much damage you can do. Want to try and keep the economy somewhat modest on your opponent. LDLC are clawing away at what is a large lead coming into this second half. And sure enough, they know it. Nice clear from Lambert. Nice and speedy. Of course, it doesn't need one of the most amount of cash, and he'll succeed in finding 3 kills off of it. So that MAC-10 more than pays for itself. This is where the rounds get more difficult, though. A buy from DomiNation.
Maybe MSN can finally feel like he's not just being ignored because of all the odd pigs. CT side, obviously, where maybe some of those crazy shenanigans are going to look a lot more fun. I don't know if they'll be successful, but they should at least look a lot more fun.
See whether they can keep that high UD up as well. I think it's fair to say even without looking at the stats directly, they definitely had better utility damage than LDLC. Kind of a cheeky move there from Badito, trying to use the smoke, use the HE behind it to get an outline of a player. That's an older school tactic. Don't see it used that much anymore, but they're just getting picked apart. One player by one player. LDLC are falling. They lost one at B and now on through middle as well. After already low from earlier engagements, and well, Badito just has a 3 kill. Almost impossible to clear when you're running through a smoke like that. And Lambert even spamming. It's spammed right back onto him. Nothing falling the way of LDLC on DomiNation's first gun round. And Afro can't even get the no-scope to connect. So what can you do? That's a very solid state of affairs for the DomiNation CT side.
You know how you mentioned that they're getting ready for Source early on? Yeah, that grenade down middle was also very Source too.
Yeah, no, that's definitely something that will be used, but you know, actually you can see through the smoke. That's a way you can still do it.
Yeah, of course.
Counter-Strike a little offensive, you know.
Maybe that was just the Easter egg all along. Valve was telling people what to be prepared for with Source 2. Sneaky Valve.
Yeah, it's not a bug, it's a feature.
Literally the history of all of Dota. Denying? Feature.
Was that actually a bug once upon a time? Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it's funny because I'll wait for the end of this round in case it's like a very fun story about that. Badito, though, forced off, will be unable to find any of the initial frags, but that's where he's just got a player covering in. Okay, you know what? Back to denying it goes. So in Dota, guys, just so you, in case you guys don't know, in Dota you can kill your own creeps / minions if you're a League of Legends person.
Sort of denies gold for your opponent.
Yes. And in Dota 1, historically, that was not supposed to be a thing. It was just that the map developers didn't know how to stop it from happening. So once upon a time, if you tried to deny one of your own creeps, you would be turned into a tiny sheep, which is called being hexed. So you'd just be effectively turned into a sheep for 0.5 seconds. And that was also where it was really, sometimes people misclick and die and whatnot. So it eventually ended up being patched that you can only do it underneath half HP. And there's like a lot of like really interesting code that was used to implement that. But again, I'm talking about Dota from like 2004 or 5 when I used to, when I first started playing.
It was a band-aid fix to a problem that they had. It's how the jump spotting, you know, the big jump bug that people used to sort of hammer on about, that's how that came about, actually. You know, the Valve developers were trying their best to patch a problem in the game, and ended up creating another problem. So that's coding in a nutshell. DomiNation have been doing a good job though in these past couple of rounds, not only against the gun rounds, but now as well against the pistols. Nice cleanly affair. Look at their money, it's so reinforced, but they may not even need it. They're looking to accelerate out of Inferno. Afro's gone. Gravity already taken a lot of damage via the early spam, down to 41 around that smoke, and he's just hoping that he can find a player that won't be looking his way. Might get the drop on Aaron or Camion. Oh, jumping around the corner. There is backup. Camion still holding and actually wants to aggro right back into it, so Gravity's gone. A 5-on-3 for LDLC to try and stay alive on this map, and, well, it's a 1-on-5 now for Lambert.
Well. I don't think he's got much of a chance here, Michael.
Oh.
I feel like it's not too biased to say, but maybe with the first 2 kills, I'm wrong about it. No, never mind. Never mind. 16-6, it is DomiNation to come through with a very clean Inferno. I have to say, I don't have many hopes out for LDLC's nuke if this is the pace that we will be following.
Yeah, I just think mechanically they just looked much worse than the DomiNation guys. You know, even the chances that they did have in that